of the above-mentioned are very positive trends. So what about China's dairy sector? The import of liquid milk even showed the first downward trend in 10 years.
There was a decline. We are attributed this decline to the change in consumer demand. Imported liquid milk faces logistic problems imposed by the requirements to transport products long distance to China and by a lack of cold chain infrastructure, which is underdeveloped. Compared with domestic dairy products, imported milk is also expensive. In China, two leading companies, Yilia and Mengniu, occupy the main market shares of the liquid milk, so imported dairy products can only find opportunities in other submarkets.
What about butter, cheese, and condensed milk?
Imported dairy products also include raw milk and raw powder, whose prices are still lower than the production costs of some domestic dairy products after tax, so they are widely used in the production of milk powder. However, trends towards premiumization in the infant formula sector means imported raw materials do extremely well in this sector.
Can we consider that the import of dairy raw materials is closely related to the development of the domestic dairy market?
That's right. This year, new national dairy industry policy and trends towards increased acceptance of domestic products means that the growth in import is unlikely to see any significant growth.
What about infant formula?
At present, traditional trade is the main channel for infant formula milk powder import. At the end of last year, China promulgated a new cross-border e-commerce policy. It is expected that in the next year, the import of infant formulas through cross-border e-commerce will increase. However, due to the reduction of newborn babies and the rise of infant formula enterprises in China, it may be difficult to maintain the previous growth rate. During the Spring Festival, Jingdong data show that Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong, and Jiangsu were the provinces with the largest number of consumers of imported fresh food consumers. The most popular overseas fresh products included Uruguayan beef, oxen beef, and other meat.
At present, imported meat mainly includes 4 categories: pork, beef, frozen chicken, and mutton. It's worth mentioning that pork imports increased by 218% compared to that of last year, likely due to China's ongoing battle with African swine flu.
Pork farming in some parts of China is affected by African swine fever. Domestic pork supply has declined and the market has accepted more imported pork. A few days ago, the well-known pre-packaged dumpling manufacturer Sanquan's sample were detected with CSFV, causing widespread panic. It can be seen that African swine fever still has a great impact on the market.
Beef imports are also increasing. Can you outline the market opportunities for imported beef in China in the future?
Chinese consumers consume pork the most, but the demand for beef is also very large. There is a gap of 970,000 tons between the supply and demand of beef in China. There is still more room for the growth in the market of imported beef in China.
Health foods and China's health-related food sector have been subject to sweeping reforms and increased supervision in recent years. Is this a good opportunity for overseas health food brands?
The market of imported healthcare products has also been growing well, and although the market is still dominated by domestic enterprise, several high-profile international companies are doing extremely well in China. Companies like Swiss in Australia and GNC in the United States have already gained serious traction with Chinese consumers.
However, overseas brands still face stiff competition from domestic brands such as Thomson Beijian, Yangshen and Tianshili.
In the past few years, domestic healthcare enterprises have merged or cooperated with overseas healthcare enterprises, which has accelerated the import of healthcare products into China. And now with the rapid development of cross-border e-commerce channels, regulatory obstacles will no longer be a deal breaker.
So will healthcare products maintain steady growth?
Imported healthcare products can focus on diversified marketing methods, such as using Double 11 promotions, live broadcasting activities, inviting KOL evaluation, and etc. Consumers attach importance to quality, and enterprises should focus on highlighting the superior quality of their products or other unique features.
Finally, are there any good advice for international companies that want to enter the Chinese market?
The most important thing to create a stable market entry foundation is compliance with Chinese laws, regulations, national standards, and etc. We check the categories with the most compliance problems, and the product category with the most unqualified batches was infant supplementary food, followed by pastries, drinks, and beverages.
What are the main reasons for compliance issues for imported products?
There are many kinds of problems, such as non-standard labels, excessive use of food additives, lack of relevant qualification certificates, and non-conformity with national standards. These are the most basic requirements for food enterprises exporting to China.
Agree. Compliance is important. For any food compliance issues, you may contact ChemLinked. Our email is food@chemlinked.com. Thank you for your watching. Bye.